Hi, I'm Paul Vunak, and welcome to Attributes 5. Attributes 5 is about self-perfection. It is the final tape to our Attributes series. Think about wood and sanding a piece of wood with coarse sandpaper. And as you go on, the paper gets finer and finer until finally you're polishing that wood. Well, that's what Attributes 5 is all about. It's about techniques. And as Bruce would say, techniques are not the most important thing in a fight. The most important thing in a fight is the heart, your killer instinct, your timing, your footwork, your spatial relationship, your line familiarization. And finally, as we work our way up the ladder, we finally get to techniques. So what I would like you to do is observe the movements we're doing, follow along with the segments and the techniques that we are doing, and these are techniques that are going to bring out body mechanics in you in such a way to perfect your movement. That's what this tape is all about, self-perfection. Now hang in there with me. Now remember, this is a tape about self-perfection. So what I've done is I've put together a series of traps that I think brings out the body mechanics, the timing, the spatial relationship, all of the points that are addressed in self-perfection. Okay? Remember, the key point about self-perfection is the fact that we have the weaponry. A lot of times, for example, Patrick, let's say if I did figure out over 10 or 15 years of boxing to destroy this punch, it might be a little bit wide, might be a little bit clumsy, uneconomical. But just by virtue of putting the knife in the scene, when that jab comes in, boom, it's got to be tight. And I have to have the mechanics when I cut the arm, not to cut myself on the way. So I have to have the body mechanics. That's where we get our mechanics from. Now, that same mentality, boom, is with the empty hand. If I were to take now an outside deflection, boom, boom, that's where I'm killing the nerve there. Now, if you notice, my hip is facing exactly toward his hand. Bam, I'm right there for the savate kick. Would I do that in reality? Of course not. It's the tape about self-perfection. Okay? So where do we get the outside deflection from? Weapons. Give me an angle 2. If we go too wide, it will not work. Everything you do with the weapon has to be in tight. If it's not in tight, okay, and if you're giving a stem, you're going to get your hand hit. So this is the first thing you learn with the weapon. So when he feeds the angle 2, boom, I'm keeping everything nice and tight. Now how does this translate to empty hands? I do the same thing, my gunting, and then boom, right there, nice and tight. Okay, so let's try it slowly. He jabs, gunting, outside deflection, hit, boom, kill that. Your hip is pointed, bam, fire your shot. Let's get that far. Now, let's pick up just where we left off, Patrick. Okay? Patrick throws the jab. As the jab comes, boom, we do our first gunting. Now, the arm is still out for some reason. We haven't killed it quite enough. So as we do that gunting, boom, here, that's our outside deflection. Again, while the outside deflection is happening, the hip is just ready to go. So watch my hip. I'm going to go in slow motion. This is 1, look at my right hip, 2, and now watch my hip, 3. That way, the second that I hit this arm, boom, when I'm here, the minute I hit the arm, bam, that's where the kick can come in. Okay? That's the idea. Now, as he comes in, boom, I go here, boom, that's my kick, bam. Now I step out on an angle. If I do not step out on an angle, I'll have to knee. Okay, I want to finish this up with a kick. So, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom, that's our kick. Okay, so again, boom, boom, bam, bam. Now I step into here. If you notice, my move is right after I bury that kick, I place my hand here. This is where we go to Tai Chi. Okay, one more time, real slow. Gunting. Outside deflection. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Now we sail. Okay? Let's try to get that far. Now, we're going to follow along with our progression and end up with a takeout blow, a headbutt, a knee, or an elbow. Every sequence of traps that I teach you, I'm always going to end up with some way to just completely take the guy out, if we haven't done that by now. Okay, Patrick. So we start from the beginning, and he jabs, okay? Go nice and slow. That's our first gunting, okay? When I get the gunting, boom, I go outside deflection, bam, okay? That comes, boom, to this shot. I'm going to step out here, bam, and kick. The minute I step out and kick, boom, that's my Tai Chi shot. I don't want to shove this guy too far because then he's out of trapping range. So I give him a little shove, just enough to get his neck. Boom. And now, bam, I'm back into this, bam, and that. And that'll be our follow-up. Okay, so that will end the sequence of the first trapping segment. Now, in this next segment, we're going to predicate everything upon the Vunak. The Vunak in weapons means that it retracts. Okay, Trevor? If we were just to follow through with the weapon, okay, this is called a lob tick. Okay, that motion can go in any angle. Now, if we backhand and we bring the stick back, this is called a Vunak. You can go high, low, high. You can go on the inside and boom, boom, boom. Okay? Now, this germane to empty hands would be, if he gives me a jab, I go boom, I go through it. That is a lob tick. But if I choose to stay on the inside and go for that eye shot, and I'll do this slow, is we hit the nerve. But as we hit the nerve, it kind of reverberates, but boom, right to the eye. Now, from this shot, all I want to do is pull right to here. Okay? So once we've destroyed the nerve in the arm and poked the eye, that kind of gels the body for the next move we're going to do. And this is called Dumov. Okay? So he jabs. Again, we're not going through. Sometimes it's a bigger bicep. You don't know what happens when you hit a bicep all the time. So it's going to retract. Boom, right in the eye. And then bam, back to this. Okay, so let's see if we can get that far. The key important point here is that when you pull the man in, you're grabbing your own arm and pulling. Trevor, let me borrow you one more time on that. Okay, we get the destruction here. We reverberate to the eye. Now, if you notice, I don't hold his hand, but I'm grabbing my own hand, and I'm pulling to the headbutt. And that's where we're going to stop you. We'll take it from there. Now let's continue down the path that we've been doing, Trevor. Now remember, when somebody throws a jab at you in a fight, first of all, you're moving around, okay? Hopefully he's not even going to get in close enough to jab you, okay? As soon as he gets a bam, I'm going to hit his groin, okay? Or as soon as he comes in with it, boom, I'm going to intercept him, okay? If we happen to be in jab range, this is when we would do our move, okay? Bruce used to say you hit the closest target with your longest weapon. So if we're in boxing range and I can't kick him, then the jab comes. Sometimes you just have to parry it, okay? You're not always going to get a destruction. So when you train this at home, don't be rhythmic about it and do it every time. But move around, and once in a while just pat it, and then boom, get in, okay? Now as we do our move, let's say, for example, we didn't hit the bicep quite hard enough, or we missed the eyeball, or this guy's just a little bit cantankerous and just doesn't cooperate with us. Okay, so we get up to here and be able to hear, but as I go here, he's just a strong guy, and I can't bend that arm. Okay, what would make me bend that arm in a fight is the fact that I actually landed that shot in the nerve, and I actually took the eye. So if we do happen to miss that, okay, boom, and I can't get that, boom, then I just come back up and wrench it on this side. Now that headbutt becomes a lot easier. Okay, so the move we're doing, going again slow, is 1, 2. But he fights you here. Now, which way is he fighting? He is bending his arm this way. So we're just going to help it along a little bit. We're just going to turn it and wrench it. Once it's broke, that brings the head into play a lot easier. Give it a try. Now moving along, let's completely go through our sequence all the way up to the follow-up. Okay? The follow-up is going to be a foot sweep in which we could or could not go into the choke depending on the situation. If you choose to go to the ground, we're going to go to the choke. Otherwise, when you have them right here, you're just elbowing the spine. You'll see what I mean. Okay, Trevor. So we start with a jab. Bam! That's our first shot. Okay? That's the Vunak. Okay? Again, remember the lob tick goes through, and the Vunak, boom, stays in. Okay, now when I come in here, he fights me here. So I go back up to here, boom, back down to here. Now notice where my left hand is at. I'm already positioned perfect to control him. This is my Vunak. Okay, this is the Vunak control. Shoving this bone anywhere you want from this position is how you can move a man. So after we've gotten boom, 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 okay, now I control, bam, just to get my last shot in. Now I'm going to come back, boom, elbow the deltoid and foot sweep. Okay, this is where I just would finish the fight with an elbow straight to the back. If you want to go into this now, boom, we can go right into our choke and end the fight. During our next set of combinations now, we're going to have a different type of body mechanic that will be brought out, because the gunting that we'll be doing will not be a rear hand gunting, it'll be a front hand gunting. So again, it creates a different type of body mechanic. These are all moves to help your self-perfection. Again, icing on the cake. Okay, Brian, come on out. Now, Brian throws a jab. Generally speaking, we pat the jab here. We can pat it and come back with ours. We're used to taking the front hand, jab please, boom, and hitting the inside of the bicep with that. But there will be an occasion in which you're tipped a little bit this way, and that jab comes, and it's easier for you to take it this way. And if you fortify that with footwork, as the jab comes, bam, that's right in the eyes, boom, and then I just come with a double shot here. Now notice when I hit that, that's boom, that's my arm wrench. The arm wrench has got to be there. Now the shoulder's just looking at me, boom, here. If I want to get nasty, I just shove up here, boom, and take the throat. Now I'm just going to wrap the neck, and I'm going to fall. I'm just going to basically pile drive right on the cement. As I pile drive the head on the cement, I'm going to wrap the legs and squeeze. Okay, this should finish it up. Now on this particular segment of trapping, we're going to stress rhythm. We're going to stress half beats. That's what this is for. In terms of our self-perfection, a trapper needs to have rhythm, and he needs to insert half beats while he's trapping, just as a boxer does. Imagine if you have a 5 o'clock jab class and a 6 o'clock cross class and a 7 o'clock hook class. Okay? It would never work. You have to put them together. If you don't put your punches together and put them together in a way that has rhythm, you're not going to be able to box. So martial arts is the same way. Now, when we have a double stick in our hand, you have to have rhythm. Nothing gives you rhythm and timing. Nothing brings out timing and half beats better than the double stick. Let me show you that. And then we're going to show you how it relates to empty hands, okay? This is just standard 6. So let's call that a beat and that a beat. Each click is a beat. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 5, 6. So I can insert that half beat anytime I want. It becomes obvious when you have a weapon in your hand, okay? Because they're going, there's got to be rhythm, there's got to be beats, otherwise it would be too structured, too antiseptic, okay? Now how does this relate to empty hands? Okay, as he jabs and I do my gunting, let's just consider this, boom, one beat, okay? The gunting and the back fist, okay? I might have put that in between, excuse me, get that in, okay? So as he jabs, boom, that's one beat. Now in between that and that, I'm going to put in that, the oblique kick. So if you listen, ba-ba-bow, okay, I'm getting all 3 beats. Again, please, ba-ba-boom. Okay, that's the same thing with the double stick. So try to insert the oblique kick in between the bicep shot and the back fist. Now, in this particular segment, remember, we're emphasizing half beats. So the half beat that we inserted was the oblique kick in between this glinting and the backhand. Okay, now we're just going to follow up with our traps and introduce more half beats until we finally get to the follow-up. Again, it is so important to have rhythm in trapping. That takes away all of the antiseptic feeling that you get. For example, when you work on the mukjung dummy and it's you just can't fight that way. It'd be like getting up on the heavy bag and going 102, 103, 104. You just got to get up and flow. This is what Bruce was trying to tell people. Okay, so with that in mind, let's work on some more rhythm. Okay, Tim, come on in. Now remember, the jab comes in between this and this is one beat. Okay, we got that far. We put the half beat in here, which is the oblique kick. Okay, so this is as far as we've gotten. So right here is my last shot. Now I could consider this a beat and this a beat. Okay, and then this and this and this can be a beat. So the rhythm can be bam, 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 bam. Okay, that can all be one flow. Or I can go 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, how I structure the beats tells me how many times I can hit this person. Plus, it throws off his psyche. We're beating him emotionally. So hang in there. Now remember, as I said in the beginning, this is the icing on the cake, attributes 5. This is about self-perfection. You already have to have your basics down. Not only do you have to have them down, you have to practice them on a regular basis. All of the traps you learned will do you absolutely no good in this tape if you don't work your basics. If you don't get out there and punch and kick on your heavy bag. Without that, you might as well bought Raiders of the Lost Ark. In fact, it's cheaper. Now, what you're going to watch me do is just sharpen my tools on the bag. The key point that I want you to see here is that I'm always out in long range. I always shuffle to hit the bag. Shuffle kick or shuffle jab. Once I'm in, I'll hit it with a flurry of punches. In lieu of the punches in a real fight, it would probably be a straight blast and then headbutts, knees, and elbows. I'm just trying to now sharpen my tools. So you're going to watch me get in, do my thing, and then get back out again. That's the main thing. Once in a while, I'll throw a high kick up. Obviously, we'd never do that in a fight. We'd never kick a man in the face. We'd never punch him in the toe. But for training, for self-perfection, you'll see a few savate kicks. Well, I hope you enjoyed Attributes 5. This is about self-perfection, but I want you to remember that self-perfection and self-preservation go hand in hand. They all belong to the same matrix. For example, self-preservation is going to give you the heart. It's going to give you the attributes. It's the sparring, it's the wrestling, it's the boxing. Self-perfection will give you the body mechanics. The body mechanics are what take a big man out of commission. Anybody can throw their fist at somebody's face. Anybody can headbutt somebody. But unless they have the quote-unquote self-perfection to do it with the proper body mechanics, it's going to do you no good. So this tape is helping our street fighting in an indirect way. This is why we blend self-preservation with self-perfection. And close on this note. Thank you very much.